Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Gross. I'm here with Bill Ruel, and here we are with the Division II softball tournament. So pretty exciting day as Goffstown takes on Portsmouth today.
It should be a good game. You know, you can't really say the last game was really a good game. It was like 12-0, and we only gave them one hit. But this is a new game. This is a tournament. Every team plays up when they come to the tournament. We have to be ready to do it. We have to take anything they give us and give it right back to them.
You know, interesting today is, it's a single elimination tournament. Last year, or maybe it was the year before, Goffstown played St. Thomas Aquinas, and they pitched, I think it was Abby Bass, who just had a phenomenal game. And I think she struck out like 15 or 16 of the Goffstown hitters. So, anything can happen in these types of games. And Goffstown barely survived that one en route to a semifinal appearance in the state tournament. But, this is the type of game that is critical. You got to get the monkey off your back. You got to get this one, to live another day.
I think, again, like we've talked out earlier, the first key thing is to score early, to put them on defense, to make them throw the ball around, and to just play solid defense and take your hits when they come.
All right. So we're going to get started pretty shortly, and we have a beautiful day. The weather they said was going to be overcast, potential thunderstorms, but so far it's bright and sunny, and hope to stay that way. So we'll be back in a few after the player introductions and the national anthem. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Gross. I'm joined by Bill Ruel, and we are ready to go for a great softball game between Goffstown and Portsmouth.
This is the beginning of the tournament, but you got to play every game like it's the last game. No mistakes, get the key hits, and you'll advance.
So weather-wise, we were operating at about a 70-degree day. It is sunny currently, although I tell you, the weather, the last couple of weeks, I think it's been like 8 or 9 out of the last, seems like 10 days have been like overcast or rainy. I mean, great if you're maybe seeding a new lawn or something, but not so great if you want to play baseball or softball.
Right, I don't think we have a water shortage now. Go by the Merrimack.
They say that there's still a drought, Bill, but it's not a severe one. So again, a lot that has to do with water tables, things of that nature. So today we're going to have Kaylee Schwinnard in the circle pitching for Goffstown, although she will not be batting. She is the flex player. Batting for her will be Melissa Mullen. And Schwinnard has had a real dominant season as a senior, and I was talking to her dad prior to the game, and I said, I don't know if I've seen a player since I've been following Goffstown softball, which has been a long time, that has had such a dramatic turnaround in terms of performance. I mean, Kaylee, she did pitch a bit last year, but she went from being, a third-string thrower to being a potential all-state pitcher all in 1 year, and he said that she just worked her tail off in the offseason. And that really speaks volumes of her work ethic.
You can see that, and you can see her dedication and her real focus when she's out there.
All right, so when we get started, we're going to have Emily Burgess, the catcher, number 4, stepping in for Portsmouth. And here comes pitch 1.
Slap.
And that's a ball. So, again, she looks like she's going to be a slap hitter. And that's high for ball 2. it's interesting. She has fairly long hair, and if he gets in the way, it's hard to see. And that's fouled off.
I don't understand why we're playing that deep at first base, though, at this point.
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that Chouinard she fields her position very, very well. So maybe the thought process, she'd get over there, and that's hit right to Chouinard. Okay. And look how quick she gets down the line. So for a catcher, Burgess has tremendous speed.
We've got to keep her off the bases today. I think this is another girl that was a slap hitter the last time we faced them, too.
So in steps number 10, Katie McCafferty, the shortstop. Infield, we've got Taylor Gagnon about 3 steps in at third. And she does another,
she
looks like a
sure
slap.
What she was going to do.
It was weird, yeah, because her feet were definitely moving. Watterson's playing shortstop, regular depth. Gifford is at second, and Purcell is playing deep here.
Outfield's fairly shallow, too.
Again, looking for the slap. And she swings through. That was a bit high, but she swung through. It's an 0-2 count with 1 out, top of the first. And that ball rose a little bit too much for a 1-2 count. I noticed that we now have Darryl operating the camera for us. Welcome, Darryl. That's popped up. That's going to be a tough play. That's out of bounds, foul. Taylor Gagnon, she was about 3 or 4 steps in, and that ball was directly over her head. So it would have been like over the back shoulder, type of catch, and she couldn't get to it. So it's still a 1-2 count to McCafferty. And that ball's hit to the shortstop to Watterson. She throws over to Purcell, who stretches and gets her. So a nice play by Watterson, another athlete for the Goffstown team, first-year shortstop for Goffstown, and she has fielded her position very well this year.
She's really helped solidify the infield.
Yeah. In steps the pitcher, Morgan Korch, number 13. Outfield, whoa, that one came back pretty fast, and Brad Parkhurst with his reflexes. The ladies up here, Brianna Fournier, get a little nervous. And that's a ball.
The first time we played Portsmouth, Korch struck out twice.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. And that's a pop-up. Woo, another one.
Yeah. I don't think you want to throw this girl a high pitch.
Yeah, she's got good power. Ooh, and the off-speed pitch gets her. So Kaylee Chouinard with a changeup strikes out Morgan Korch, the pitcher. So Kaylee Chouinard does her job, so does Goffstown, retiring the first 3 batters, and they will head into the bottom of the first inning. So a nice day. I tell you something, I saw more administrators at this game. Principal McBride is here, the athletic director, the superintendent of schools is here today. I see Frank over there on the first base side. Good day for softball, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk to Frank a little bit.
Good day to get out of the office.
Yeah, well, when you're an administrator, every day is a long day, especially during the you worked as an educator. You know the deal. It's not a 9-to-5 job, that's for sure. And I tell you, one of the things, especially with Principal McBride, for as long as I've known him, he seems, what's the term, the SAT word, ubiquitous. He's everywhere. He's at a lot of different sporting events. And not just him, a lot of the administrators, you'll see them at, the theater performances and the athletic events and all the different things that go on. And I think that's been one of the reasons why Goffstown School District has been so successful over the years, is that there's a high level of engagement with the student body and the faculty.
Yeah. So looking at the lineup, I see we have shuffled a few players today. They've dropped Megan Purcell down in the lineup.
Yeah, she's now batting, what, 6th?
Yeah. Shannon Gifford is
Clean up
number
again.
4 hitter today. Taylor Gagnon moves to 3.
Who would have thunk that in terms of, when we first started this season, to think that we'd have a freshman who's leading the team in batting average and home runs. Mazursky bunts that one
shows
foul.
bunt.
I don't know. I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have thought that.
No. So Mazursky comes in with a 280 average. But
she shows bunt,
yeah,
and I think they're going to. It's going to be a ball. So I guess she must have pulled back on that one.
And boy, their infield is in.
Yeah, I mean, so basically the job is to be the second baseman. Can they get over there? And that's going to be an easy play. And
No,
it's not an easy play. And she better get on her horse a little bit. So that's an overthrow, an error by the third baseman.
Right.
So Mazursky gets on.
E5.
So Mazursky ends up at second base on that overthrow. But, that's a situation where the third baseman was halfway down the line. A really, I think, easy play. Just wasn't executed. And now in steps the catcher, Alyssa Lombardi, with a runner at second in scoring position. And she hits a single into, and they're going to send the runner. And now they're taking bases like crazy. So Lombardi goes over to second. And technically, if that ball was properly cut off, she would be held to a single. So Goffstown jumps on a quick 1-0 lead. And this is what was the game plan.
Yeah.
Get some runs early. So now the third baseman, Taylor Gagnon, steps in. And she's, so far, the last couple of games has gotten her swing back.
Yeah, shows a 373 average, but as you said, she's been swinging the bat a lot better.
And she quickly ends up with a 2-0 count. Lombardi, a very good base runner at second base. And I'll tell you, it looks like Coach Matt Fleming, anything in the outfield, he's going to run them. That's in the dirt for a 3-0 count. So let's see if you think Gagnon will get a green light here. I say no, not with Gifford on deck.
No.
I say it's going to be bat on shoulder time. And she takes strike one, so it's a 3-1 count.
I think you got to let her swing with this one.
Yeah, I think now with a 3-1 count, definitely she'd be swinging. The outfield is playing, I'd say, regular depth, except for the right fielder, and that ball's hit to left field in foul territory, and that's caught. Nobody covered third, and she's in trouble. She gets in there. She got a very, very late break, and I'm sure that Coach Fleming might have a little conversation with her, because if she was going to tag, she hesitated about 2 seconds and made that play closer than it should have been.
Fly out to left field, and Lombardi moves to third.
And that's in there for a strike. So, again, the freshman Gifford, number 2, she comes
she's
in
only
with,
batting .561.
Yeah, she's leading, and then she's got a lot of plate appearances too, folks. So this is not a situation where she's getting limited playing time. That's in the dirt. Great stop by the catcher, and that's the job of the catcher. Just get the ball and stop it, not let it go behind you, because another run would score. So Gifford's looking at a 1-1 count. A lot of ones on the board. And she crushes one. That's going to score a run. That ball's hit solidly. She takes a wide turn at first base, and she gets another RBI. So another hit for Shannon Gifford and another RBI. Amber Davis steps in.
Here's where the important part of the lineup comes into play.
Well, this is the part of the lineup that recently has been, I'd say, inconsistent. Amber Davis pops one up over the third baseman, and that's foul.
Yep.
So, the bottom part of the order has had success, and I'd say it's been inconsistent. I mean, there's some games where they are just crushing it. There's others when the bats are a little bit quiet. And that's why I think Matt has shuffled this up a little bit, trying to get those right combinations in the playoffs. And that's fouled off, and that's another ball. That's going to come off the roof.
It's a good swing, though.
One thing I noticed with Amber is that, she really does jump on pitches early. She does get into count holes. She hits one to the first baseman.
Good. Moves the runner to
Yep.
second.
So
So that's a fielder's choice. All right.
So now we've got number 13, the first baseman, Purcell.
And she's 386.
I lost my stat sheet. Who took it from me? I wonder. That ball's hit to the outfield, and that could be gone. That's a home run for Megan Purcell. That was I thought that was a pop-up. That thing traveled and traveled and traveled. So that's a big home run for Megan Purcell, a 2-run home run. And Goffstown quickly jumps on a 4-0 lead, and that brought a big smile to Megan Purcell.
That's something that she needed.
And that's, look at Coach Fleming has given her a big hug.
Number 11, shortstop, Justine Watterson.
So in steps the shortstop Watterson. She didn't bat at the last game, but she is in the lineup. Great bunter, I think. And she hits one also to center field. This one could be gone as well. And it is gone, a home run for Watterson. And the Goffstown bench is cleared once again as Justine Watterson is congratulated by her teammates.
Back-to-back
home runs for Goffstown. Megan Purcell and Justine Watterson went yard. And we've got a 5-0 lead. And here comes manager for Portsmouth, going to try to get a little bit of a regroup. I wasn't sure if that one was going to quite make it, but it probably cleared the fence by about a foot or two. I thought it was going to land at the foot of the fence, but it carried. You know, the strange thing today, Bill, is that you don't really see much wind. The flag out there, I don't know if Darryl can go and show the flag in center field.
Pretty dead.
But there's really no wind to speak of. It's pretty dead. So.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get Melissa Mullen at the plate, and she is the designated player. She's the designated hitter for the game.
Mullen comes in at 400 average.
And that pitch is outside in the dirt for ball one. Melissa Mullen is a senior, headed to UNH Manchester in the fall. And she takes a long swing and swings through that one. It's a 1-1 count. She's smiling. And she hits one to the shortstop. This could be a tough play. And she gets off the bag. Ooh. How did they call her out on that? Did she get tagged? Did she get tagged on that play? Okay.
All right.
But she definitely wasn't on the bag, so she must have been tagged as she went by.
Yeah.
Yep. So, a lot of damage by Goffstown in the bottom of the first. Home runs by Justine Watterson and Megan Purcell, and that's really what the doctor ordered here. You got to get the lineup in the bottom half going, and they did so there.
5 runs on 4 hits.
So far, I'm looking at the clouds, and I don't see anything too nasty on the horizon. So let's keep good thoughts here that we can get this game in. I heard from talking to Eric Emmerling, the fine reporter from the Union Leader, that there are a lot of games today that were canceled due to weather. Yeah. Now, tomorrow is open on many of the schedules, so maybe they were thinking that it would be a situation where they would just play it tomorrow, and I think the forecast for tomorrow is much better. So the left fielder, Casey Pinacho, right-handed batter, she's going to step in, and Chouinard resumes her spot in the circle. If I'm not mistaken, is that Megan Purcell's first home run this season?
Yes.
Yeah, and she hit 5 last year?
We didn't see Pinacho the last time in the lineup.
That first pitch was a ball. High and outside, ball 2.
Is it 3-0 now? Or?
It's a 2-0 count to Panacho. And that hit ball to third base. Gagnon throws it over. What a beautiful play. Very quick in terms of her ability to snag that ball off a one hop and throw it over to Purcell for the first out of the inning.
You know, all year long the infield's played well.
Yeah.
I can only remember maybe 1 or 2
A couple errors here and there,
yeah.
but nothing that you get, you're going to have some errors in games. And that's an off-speed pitch. Took a little off that one to Aaron Dennehy, the third baseman. That's in there for another strike. That's right down the middle. So now Dennehy is quickly in an 0-2 hole. Let's see what Chouinard throws here. I say a high, fast one. High and outside. And she hits the corner, and on 3 straight pitches, Dennehy goes down swinging. That's her second strikeout of the game.
Number 16, playing second base, Danielle Adams.
Entering the plate here is Danielle Adams, second baseman. And she swings through that. So 4 straight strikes for Chouinard. And she needs to get into this groove here. Once she's in that groove, she's tough. And she's in the groove now. So now quickly, number 16, Adams, she's in an 0-2 count with 2 outs. Amber Davis is in a little in left. I'm sure they in right. 1-2 count. Mazurski is in left field. She's playing regular depth. So is Kate Carolendry in center. And that's strike 3.
Right on the knees.
Right at the knees on the inside part of the plate. So that's the second strikeout of the inning, third on the game. And that was quick work.
Yep. It would be nice to have this game go 5 innings and call it a day if we could.
I think I'm going to try to get, I don't know if Frank McBride is around. I'm going to see if he would coming up here in the next half inning. So hold on a sec. I'll be back.
Send the runner down. Send Butch.
So we'll have Landry to lead off the inning. In the previous game, Landry was 2 for 4.
All right, I just ran down to the field, and we're going to have Principal McBride come up next half inning, get his thoughts on things. So we've got, Landry up now?
Yep.
She's the 9 hitter.
Mm-hmm. Good pitch right on the outside.
Now, she's doing really well in terms of, confidence at the plate. I don't think, she seems to take pitches, but she doesn't really strike out a whole lot. And she hits one also. That's going to go deep, but that's going to be foul. So, man.
Kara's got a 412 average.
So she's in an 0-2 count, but I tell you, she jumped all over that one. If she can straighten that one out, that would have been a home run as well.
She does have 1 home run this year.
First baseman and the third baseman are about 4 steps in. Whoa, that one looked to be on the outside part of the plate. Landry didn't like it, neither did I, but we are not being paid umpire fees today.
All right, so what do you think? Is she going to bunt again?
I say no. And she does. Right to the pitcher. This should be an easy play, and it is.
Just a little too hard with the bunt.
Yeah, and I think in those situations, the toughest play is the bunt play to the first base side.
Right.
Because the runner, the first baseman has to spin around and throw back, get their feet. So now in steps Lombardi, and she goes after one over her head.
The first time we played Portsmouth, Lombardi had 2 home runs in the game.
Yeah.
She almost hit for the cycle, I believe.
that ball was coming in there pretty hard, but that was high. 1-1 count.
I'm sure they remember the game she had.
And she hits one sharply right by the third baseman, and that's her second hit of the day. Another single. And, this is a great lesson learned for some underclassmen. Your job is not to try to hit home runs. Your job is to try to hit the ball hard. And she hit the ball hard 2 times in a row, 2 singles. So now Gagnon steps in. She popped out to left field in her last at-bat. She's got quite a bit of power, too. Now, just for those of you watching, once that ball gets thrown back to the pitcher, any runner has to make a decision. You either got to go to second or go back to first. And that ball's hit to right field, and that's she drops the ball. And let's see what they're going to do here. They're going to send the runner. No, they're not. They're going to stop the runner. And Lombardi stops at third. I thought they were going to send her. She would have been dead to rights if they did. So now Gagnon will probably test the arm of the catcher here. So Shannon Gifford steps in. So that would be an error.
Runners on first and third.
Runner first and third. Gifford singled. Here comes a runner in difference play. So now Gifford has got runners in scoring position with 2 outs. And she gets a single. And that's going to score 2. Gagnon is going to be waved around, and Gifford is safe at second. So great base running by Gifford. Yeah. She went about halfway and saw that the third baseman wasn't really paying attention. Yeah. So she took that little extra base. So 2 more RBIs for Shannon Gifford. That gives her 3 on the day. And Goffstown extends its lead 7-0. And in steps Amber Davis. And she's pretty much a first pitch hitter. There you go. She's not embarrassed about going after the first one. I think that's one of the challenges with her is sometimes she gets into these like 0-2 counts, and then it's hard to be selective when you're protecting the plate a lot. She fouls another one off. I tell you, if we were to go back and look at her in particular, you will see that she's in a ton of 0-2, 1-2 counts.
Yeah.
And when you're playing defensive like that, it's hard to get on top of the ball. She hits one to the shortstop, and that is pooched.
Come on.
And it's going to score another run. No. No way. I'm sorry, sir. I don't agree. We had a great angle on that one, and she jumped over that tag. And I'd be sure to show the replay on that one.
Base hit.
So it's a 7-0 lead, a base hit by Amber Davis.
6-2.
And it's a throw out. So, Bill, if you wouldn't mind give your headset over to Frank. We're going to welcome in Principal Frank McBride. Frank, how you doing today?
Oh, great day.
What a beautiful day.
Beautiful.
So, what'd you think of that last one? I thought she jumped over the tag. We had a great view from here.
Ball beat her there, so I think
the ball did beat her there, but I thought she jumped over the tag.
I like 7-0 sportsmanlike call.
Okay, all right. So far, Goffstown has jumped out to a really they just jumped all over them with those home runs, and that's really good for this particular team because Purcell, who had power last year, had really not had any. She has not had any home runs. That's her first home run of the season.
I think in a weird way, not winning on Saturday and playing this game is going to help them. I think it just gives you the confidence, and I think when you feel hot, I think hopefully this game continues to go the way it is. I think it's going to help them.
I think you definitely want to go in as hungry as possible. So Megan Adams, the first baseman, she steps in, and again the outfield is playing, I'd say, deep in left and center. And that pitch is high. So Chouinard is really the story of this season, I think. I mean, I was mentioning before she was third-string pitcher last year, and then she comes in first-string pitcher and just has done a phenomenal job mixing up not only her speeds but her location. And she keeps the batters, off, just off their best. And that's fouled off.
great kid, great family, works hard, top 10 student. I just think everything she does well. So as she's getting older, I just think she's getting bigger, stronger, better.
You know, I was talking to Bill before about the level of engagement here at Goffstown High School, and I think a lot of that is a credit to the administration, the staff. The students are super engaged. They do a lot of different things, and you were telling me that, you know, the research has showed that, you know, these kids who are involved in athletics and extracurricular activities, they're your top academic performers too.
They are, and more often than not, a lot safer choices too. It's a great way to learn and grow when you stay busy.
So Megan Adams draws a walk, and that's the first walk today given up by Chouinard. And number 5, Molly McKell, the center fielder, steps in. She looks to bunt, and that's a nice bunt. Throw it over to Gifford, and covering is Chouinard. So everybody was moving there. You can't see it on the camera, but the left fielder, Mazurski, ran into her position. The pitcher went over, covered to third. If that does not happen, that runner goes all the way to third. So it's all fundamentals.
Solid play.
So it's a sacrifice bunt for Molly McKella, and Kaylee Shepard, she's the designated hitter. She steps in with a runner in scoring position at second. That pitch is high. So Saturday we have baseball, right? They're playing.
We got yes, it's all good. The unfortunate thing is the
same time, right?
Yeah, same time. And there's some track kiddos competing as well down at Merrimack. So busy day on Saturday, hopefully.
Yeah. So Chouinard, that's 2 balls in a row. So it's a 2-0 count to Kaylee Shepard, and she swings through that one.
Good pitch.
2-1 count. Again, Chouinard just has a real good knack for just mixing things up, and she keeps them off balance. We've got Gagnon playing in a step or two at third. Same thing with Purcell at first. And that's fouled off.
Good cut.
Yep. So it seems like every year, you know, Goffstown is in the hunt, you know, on a lot of different sports, which is it speaks volumes of all the programs, all the coaches. It's good when you're potentially in the hunt for so many teams.
A lot of good people, and again, no one does it better than this program. They do everything the right way.
Off-speed pitch. It's a 3-2 full count. Yeah, Matt Fleming.
Respect what he's put together, and you and this whole
it's just
team of people up here in the broadcast
booth. It's a lot of fun. And really, I think Matt really took off from, you know, Wake Stillman did it for so many years. It's a pop-up. Watterson is underneath it, and
nice
she
play.
Grabs it. You know, I try to explain to people, this is a tough environment to play in. I think it's a little intimidating for a visitor to come in to this complex. For one, it's a beautiful complex, and not every softball program has a video and all the fun stuff that goes along with it, and a great concession stand. But it's just, this is a tough place to come into. They've only lost like 1 game in 2 seasons.
Yeah, top notch. I was just sharing with a colleague who doesn't see as many sporting events. How this there's very few, if any, high schools that are this complete as far as the whole package. You have to go to college to see concessions and huge crowds and broadcasting. That just doesn't occur.
Yeah, that was a slap bunt foul, so that's or a slap hit, I should say. That's an 0-2 count. So Kaylee Chouinard kind of has her where she wants her here. Let's see what she throws. And that one gets through Lombardi's. That went through the 5-hole, I'd say. So that was probably more of a pass ball. So there's a runner now at third, and this is where Chouinard needs to be aware that if you get another one that's a little off the plate, she's got to cover home. Two count, 2 outs. So Goffstown jumps on a big 7-0 lead. Really sets a high mark. That's popped up out of play.
Good at bat.
You know, anytime a batter, as you know, can foul off pitches and hang in there. You know, she was in an 0-2 count. She's come back to even it up. I think she's one of their better players. And on that last time, she grounded out to the pitcher, and she was only out by like a step.
Yeah,
she's really fast. And typically you don't see that in a catcher. in terms of speed like that. And she
Good
swings
pitch.
through
Good
that. So that was an
off-speed
off-speed pitch. So, Frank, it's been a pleasure. I want to
And
thank you for
absolute
coming up
pleasure.
here.
And I'll give you one little factoid for the day is that I was just trying to do the math. I think it was 24 years ago. My student cooperating teacher was Mr. Ruel. So he got me
No way.
he got me into this business, and he gave me my first job here when he was the athletic director. He gave me the
Unbelievable. So
JV baseball long ago. I was a college kid. So thank you so much. Great
All right.
job. Keep up the great work.
Thanks. You know, Brian said he'd come up, so get him up and then his son's stolen. Well, that was a pleasure. Thanks, Bill, for letting Frank kind of step in. And I tell you, there aren't too many administrators that are as committed to the student body and really the success of kids as Frank McBride. Just been so maybe should thank you for giving him his start. He's really done a phenomenal job here at Goffstown High School
Frank
on
was
all fronts.
He was in Goffstown, I think, for a year before he went to Trinity. We hated to lose him because he was a great athlete. And I know at St. A's, he was a great soccer player for them at St. A's.
I think at Trinity, I think he was like a 3-sport all-state.
I don't know if he played football. I know he played
soccer, basketball, baseball. Yeah.
Yep.
And I heard he was real good at all of them.
Yes.
Yep. So the other thing I'd like to mention as we get started here in the bottom of the third is we've got some players that are playing up. Tegan Coyle, Olivia Brennan, and Kaylee Molin they all came from junior varsity. They're playing. They're in the lineup today. And that ball is in the dirt for ball one.
I wonder if they'll give her a good high pitch because she clocked the last one.
Yeah, that ball was just it was a long one. So now Purcell is looking at a 2-0 count. And now she's looking at a 3-0 count. So maybe they're just pitching around her. That's what I would do.
Outfielders are all pretty deep, too. Yeah.
And she walks on 4 pitches, so I guess they want nothing to do with her. And so Watterson, she hit a home run at center field in her last at bat, and that was her second one of the season? Was that her first?
First, I believe.
Okay. And that's in the dirt.
Late on the swing.
Yeah. It's another player for Goffstown, really good bunter, and they're playing her about a couple of steps in, but she has the ability to get on with a bunt.
I think the pitcher's lost her rhythm a little bit right now.
2-1 count to Watterson, no outs with Purcell over at first. And she hits one to center field. That's going to be playable, and she drops it.
Oh, Megan.
And Megan did not go. She should have went halfway, and she didn't. And that's a little bit of a mental mistake, and that's hopefully somebody will have a little bit of a conversation there on the bench with her. I'm not saying that she would have been safe at second, but it would have been a lot closer.
So that was,
and I just don't think in that situation, your job as the base runner is to pick the ball up and to make a judgment on it as well. So Watterson is over at first. She'll replace Purcell. And that's a 2-0 count to Melissa Mullen. And she's hit like 3 home runs this season. She's got power. If she connects on it, she can definitely send it out. And that's a nice job by the catcher. That looks like it handcuffed her a bit. 3-0 count to Mullen. And I doubt she'll be swinging here, but you never know. And that's a walk on 4 pitches for Melissa Mullen. And Carol Lendry who I thought got robbed on the first inning, got called strike 3 on an outside pitch. She gets a chance to redeem this situation with runners at first and second with only 1 out. And the top of the order, Mazurski, is on deck. And that's 5 straight balls for Megan Korch. And she bunts foul into the dugout of Portsmouth. That's a rarity. You don't see that often.
That's only if she was underneath the ball. She
Yeah.
didn't really try to drop the ball down.
She's getting her signs from head coach Matt Fleming. And she hits one to second base,
Double
and that's
play.
a horrible base running mistake by
Yep.
by Bean Mullen there. And that's just something that, you got to be sharp like this. So, I mean, these are lessons learned in a game, but this is now a single elimination tournament.
Yep.
You can't make these types of mistakes. So we got a mental error with Purcell not going halfway on that ball to center field. And then this one was almost a little more egregious because that was literally like a looper to second. You got to know the situation. And I think Matt's talking with Pete Bartlett about that. You know, all these things, these are all learning experiences, and you're hoping that when you do make a flub, that it's not a critical one. You know,
These are the things you have to eliminate if you're going to
right.
move
You
on.
got to play clean,
Yeah.
really clean ball.
Like you can look back at Saturday's game. Yeah, we had 2 mistakes in the game, and that was it.
Yeah.
But it was a great game beside that.
So a couple of big things going on. I mean, this is the 100th Goffstown Television GHS sports production this year. And I was talking to Adam McCune, who's the GTV coordinator, and he's just, I mean, I think we're all kind of just, in awe of how many games over various sports that GTV has covered. We've got a timeout because we've got a shortstop. Watterson is tying her shoelaces. And that's slapped
late.
over
Slap
to
late.
So this is the shortstop, Katie McCaffrey. Again, another slap type hitter. Gifford is playing deep at second.
Outfielders are coming in. She's out of the box.
It's going to be a tough play. And they get her. I thought, it's funny, before that play was set up, I was thinking to myself, Gifford's playing a little too deep. But she was able to get that throw over there really quickly. So she cleanly received the ball and threw it over.
Quick transfer.
Yeah.
Struck out last time.
So the pitcher comes up, and she swings through that one. We got Amber Davis, who's shading over a lot to center field, and so is Lendry is shading over to left as well. And she swings through that one. I tell you, I'm a little surprised that she's the number 3 hitter. She has not had good swings here. Just hasn't. Very, very long swings. And that's right in there. I mean, that was
3 pitches, 1 out.
yeah.
Yeah, she didn't show anything the first game either. She struck out twice.
Casey Panacho.
This girl hit the shot.
So Casey
back to,
Panacho, to third. That was a
third.
real good play by Taylor Gagnon. She's playing 1 or 2 steps behind third here, and she hits one. This is going to be a tough play. And Purcell stretches, and a nice job by Gagnon. And this is what you're going to need in the playoffs. You're going to need solid defensive play, and you're seeing it today from Gagnon.
Just clean up our base running,
Yeah.
then we'll be fine.
I think the tough thing is that, if you're in one of these like 0-0 games or 1-0 and you're down or something, you really can't afford to get picked off on a double play like that. I mean, you just got to be, you got to.
Granted, it's a bang-bang play.
Yeah. Well, that one, I don't know if that one wasn't bang-bang because it was like a looper. That wasn't a sharply hit ball, Bill. It just wasn't.
And I'm sure Pete's talking to them all the time over at first base.
So we're going to get the top of the order in Kate Mazurski as she will lead off in the bottom of the 4th inning. And she's having a conversation with the coaching staff as to what they want her to do. Got a nice crowd here for a Division II preliminary softball playoff game. So it looks like, again, for those of you who missed the action over the weekend, it was just a phenomenal game between Goffstown and Sauhegan for the #1 seed in the Division II tournament, and Sauhegan came up with a victory 2-1. So they get a first round bye. So they're automatically in the quarterfinals, and they will play the winner of either Kennett or Merrimack Valley. If Goffstown is able to hold on here, they will play the winner of either Coe-Brown or Sanborn, and then see what happens there. We've played a lot of these teams that are in the bracket. Yeah. So Mazurski steps in as her 3rd at bat. She got on an error the first one, grounded out on an attempted bunt in her last at bat, and that's in the dirt for ball 1. See, I'd like to see Mazurski have her hands higher. And she hits one sharply to first, but that is corralled by Erin Dennehy. I'm sorry, not Erin Dennehy. That is Erin Dennehy.
Adams, isn't it?
Nope. She went over. Number 14. Do they switch up?
Yeah, they've made some changes.
They must have switched up some defense. And that's in there for a strike.
Yeah, I think the shortstop's a different shortstop.
Yeah,
too.
they've switched up their defensive players. So we've got one out with the catcher Lombardi at the plate. And that's in the dirt. Did that hit her? Looked like it hit her, but it didn't. A 2-1 count. That's in there for a strike.
She won at that, too.
Yeah, she did. That was in her wheelhouse, I thought. We got an even count, 2-2 in the bottom of the 4th. Goffstown's up 7-0 on a beautiful day in Goffstown. And that's hit sharply to the shortstop, and that gets by her. That's another base hit. So Allie Lombardi has quietly gone 3 for 3 with 3 singles. So I just, you can hear Coach Matt Fleming saying, productive here. You got to move runners over.
Infielders
and the infielders are in, and maybe they're going to bunt here. And that's a low strike, but a strike nonetheless. And again, I tell you, I get nervous because I know how hard Taylor Gagnon swings. And when I see a third baseman coming that far in, I get nervous. Good thing she's wearing a face mask.
Would you send Lombardi?
Yep.
That's going to be a tough play.
And they did send her. And now.
So you call that a hit and run, really.
Yeah. That was definitely a hit and run. So now runners at the corners. So gives Gagnon a signal on that one, right? And
yep.
So Gifford, she's had 2 singles too, right?
Yeah. Hard singles.
And there
Nobody's
goes,
covering second.
Yeah,
Look
no
at
one
that.
is there. I'm at a loss as to why number 9 went to first base there. She thought it was a bunt or
Well,
something. She showed bunt and then ran
And
over.
14 wasn't that far away from
Yeah.
first base either.
Yeah. You got Gagnon doing little housekeeping duties, cleaning off second base. That pitch is low for ball 2 with
If you
runners
look
at
at the
second and
outfield,
third.
right center field, there's a lot of room.
Yeah.
The center fielder is shaded.
I don't think it. I tell you, if the ball gets into Gifford's wheelhouse, it doesn't matter how deep you play, unless you're going to play on the other side of the fence. So I mean, it's she just has just a beautiful swing, and that ball is hit right to the left fielder, and Ali Lombardi made another mistake. So she didn't know the situation. And that's it. That's a double play.
So that goes, Gifford's out,
And that's it. That's the
That's
third
7.
out. That's the third out of the inning.
and Lombardi goes out 7-5.
She left too early. And that's it. That's the third out of the inning. And that was just. This is Matt Fleming is
Here we
not going
go.
to. He's not going to be a happy camper today.
No.
I can just tell you that right now. So 3 poor base running
Oh,
mistakes.
Look at Pete coming in. He's
Yeah.
just shaking his
Yeah.
head.
It's still 7-0 after 4 innings.
We had-
I mean that—that's another run, and you just can't have that.
Can't be making these in the other game.
Yeah.
That's a tag. She could have tagged.
She could have
and
tagged
come
up.
home.
Yeah.
And then they throw the ball in, and I'm sure the runner would go to third.
Yeah.
You know, this is not what you're.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden she catches the ball, and I see her cross the plate, and I'm like, you can't tag up that fast.
Little mistakes that
Yep.
come back to haunt you, I'll tell you.
So you're not going to see necessarily errors in the box score, but you're going to see a big 3 mental errors, which is not a good thing. This is very, very uncharacteristic of this team. I don't think I've seen that all season long.
Number 14, Erin Dennehy.
I'm curious. I'd love to have a microphone on Ali Lombardi. She's definitely the leader of this team. She does a lot of pep talks when they get together. I'd love to know what she said. Maybe we'll talk to her afterwards. I'd love to know what she wanted to convey. So in steps number 14, Erin Dennehy. She pops up. This is going to be a tough play. That's going to be fair ball. And I don't know what Megan was doing there because she didn't have a play on the ball, and she kind of stood far off the bag. So that's a single,
Danielle Adams.
First hit of
and
the
that's
game.
the first hit. And I call that a blooper type hit, but that's a hit nonetheless. And Danielle Adams, a second baseman, steps in. And you've got the outfield at regular depth. That's a pop-up. That's over our head. And that hits the roof of the grandstand and evens the count. So still a 7-0 lead for Goffstown, who scored all their runs in that, first and second
Yep.
innings. Since then, they've been held scoreless. High. 2-1. A little bit of a different intensity for Goffstown today as opposed to that. Ooh, she gets a low strike. I don't know about that one,
Oh
but
my God.
I guess that makes up for others. But that's a 2-2 count.
That could have been a wormer.
And she swings through that one. See, ooh, that's unfortunate for Danielle Adams. I hate to see that when a player gets a strike called against him and then it puts him in a tough count. And that's going to be out of play. And
so now you've seen this girl swing, and she doesn't get around on it.
right, so everybody should be shifting.
Shade right
You have
field?
to.
See, she's
You
still
have
going.
to.
Yeah.
She needs to move over, and so does Lendry
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she's swinging late on the ball. And same thing with Watterson, cheat to second.
Yeah. You got to see what the other player does.
Now, in fairness, I think now Davis is in a little better position there, but wow,
Again,
lo and behold.
come on.
Right. Watch out.
She take off again? She thinks she's a target. She's like, Mom, can we go to the other side?
Yeah, you don't get to keep the ball, little girl. You got to throw it back in.
This girl's taking her hacks, though.
Yeah. It's not like it's professional baseball where you get to keep the ball. That's in the dirt.
Good
2-2
pickup.
count. That's high. 3-2. You know,
think the only-
Chouinard doesn't appear as sharp as she typically does. She's going deep in these counts. And these are,
No.
yeah. So she has another walk. That's her second walk, by the way,
Yep.
Megan Adams. That's weird, too. You know, we're talking, that's like the number 6 hitter.
Number 5, Molly McKellar.
All right. I don't know. I really don't know what they're talking about because you're down 7-0. You think they want to bunt?
I don't.
I wouldn't bunt
I wouldn't bunt at all.
unless she's going to make a change
Yeah.
somewhere. Maybe a runner. Yep,
Yeah, she gets a courtesy runner, right?
12.
Courtesy Nana, number 12, Ruby Brago.
Now, that means that they might just burn, not use Frago again. Unless she's the pitcher, but she wasn't the pitcher. It was the first baseman. Oh, she did? That's fouled off on the roof. Off the roof. What was that song? Up on the roof. She got away with that one. Molly McKell, the center fielder, she had a sacrifice, I think, in her first at bat. So she got runner at first and second. So Portsmouth is threatening here in the top of the 5th inning. And she goes down swinging. And that's Chouinard's 5th strikeout. And Kaylee Shepard, I believe, number 1, will be stepping in. So again, runners at first and second. Now there are 2 outs. And that's right in there. That was a good pitch. And swings through that one. She looks very off balance on that, number 1.
Outfield's a little deep, I think, for this player.
Well, Mazurski definitely is a little deep. And that ball is hit to Gifford, and she's
Good
under
play.
it.
Good play.
So Gifford, with that putout, retires. Portsmouth with runners at first and second, and we're going to head into the bottom of the 5th inning. Goffstown leads 7-0. Game is going pretty quickly. We're only about an hour into this game, and we're already into the bottom of the 5th. So some good things for Goffstown in terms of getting home runs by Purcell and getting Watterson's bat another home run. Some good, a lot of singles. Bad, or the not so good, or the base running mistakes, and those you gotta.
They're egregious.
They're pretty tough. You know, it's funny. I remember when I was chatting with Shannon Gifford after a game. I think I told you the story about she hits a 2-run home run, a blast, and she had an error that game at second base, and that's all she was talking about. And I just, so far, Lombardi 3 for 3, and I bet you she's the same personality. She'll be like, that's what she'll.
The thing's going to haunt.
Yeah, that's going to haunt her for the next to the next game. She's just that it's tough. She's tough on herself. They all are.
So Amber's 1 for 2 today.
So last time I think Amber got a hit, but then somebody else got thrown out, right? And I think that's what. And they're playing her super deep. I mean, they're playing her almost on the warning track. She hits one to first, and that ball gets through her. But this will be
Amber.
And that's a good play by the second baseman, who went over there and was able to corral that ball that went through the first baseman's leg, and that's an out.
Megan is walk and a home run, and then she was caught in that double play.
Yeah. That's right in there for a strike. So Megan Adams is the pitcher for Portsmouth. And she throws another one right down the middle. Purcell just looking at him.
This isn't good for Megan. Megan has a tough time with 2 strikes on her.
But she looked at 2 that were clearly right down the middle. I think it's a little different story when you're talking about a high, maybe a little high and outside or whatever, and you.
No, they were legit.
They were legit right down the middle pitches. And she hits one sharply. That's a fair ball. That is over the first base side. She's got to get on her horse here.
Truck.
She better go.
Yeah,
and they're holding her up.
Good move.
I think Megan would admittedly say that she is not the fastest player on the team.
No. Going to go with a pinch runner for Megan.
And he's going to bring in
Number 5, Tegan
Coyle, who we know has some speed.
Yeah, Tegan. I think Tegan could be, she's up there in terms of one of the fastest on the team. So Watterson, who had a home run in her first at bat and got on, I guess, with an error fielder's choice type situation. So she's got a runner in scoring position. And you hear the pitcher, Adams, is basically saying, go to first base on this one. And they've got same thing. It looks like it's like a no doubles defense for Portsmouth.
Yeah.
They're playing her. And I don't know, like Watterson hit a home run, but she's not known for her power. And that ball's hit to second base. That's bobbled, but over there. And Coyle.
Fielder's choice.
Yep, goes over to third.
Good job. Move the runner.
Yep. And now you want to see Mullen kind of work the count a little bit here because we've seen some pass balls.
2 balls in the infield.
Long swing.
Long, yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the problem is that you might get away with it here against a team like Portsmouth, but as you go deeper into this tournament, a swing like that,
And
you're not
it's-
going to have a
and
whole
it's
lot of
looping
success.
swing
Yeah.
too. That's the other thing.
Yeah. You got to shorten it up.
Mm.
And it's the same thing there.
Yep.
So she's in a 1-2 hole.
Her hands come down, and then she loops the bat.
Two-two count with 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th. Goffstown still leads 7-0. We got a runner at third in Tegan Coyle. She fouls one onto the roof, and that one's coming back. A good at bat here as she's been fouling some pitches off. Again, she's got to shorten this swing up a bit, make
Put
contact.
the ball in play.
You got a big hole right up the middle. And she hits one to second base. And I tell you, that was an out. I'd like to see Mullen hustle a little bit more down to first, but
So the last couple innings, we've run ourselves into some outs, and it's cost us.
yeah. Well, you know that Coach Fleming was pretty pleased when you put up a 5 spot and then you get another 2, but I don't know if he's that pleased that he's not able to put this team away.
No, I'm pretty sure he was hoping that he could get this over in
Yeah.
5 innings.
Yeah.
Although I think he's probably happy we got the game in today and didn't do like some other schools,
Yeah.
postpone for tomorrow. So he could probably send some people to look at another team tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, on the bright side of things, the sun is shining, and also defensively, Goffstown has made some really good plays, especially in the infield. Taylor Gagnon has made some good defensive stops at third. We know that Watterson had a nice play, and Gifford. So
They played solid in the
They're
infield, yep.
playing solid.
Another slapper.
So we're up to the top of the lineup. Emily Burgess, the catcher. And she walks through strike one. And
It almost looks like she's trying to put that ball down third base.
yeah.
Those slap hitters haven't worked amounted to anything today. Like how the bat is marked?
Yeah,
And she slaps, or
tried
has
to.
tried to slap through that one. And
Number 10, Katie McCafferty.
you know, I have to say that a slap hitter, when they execute it, it's a beautiful thing to watch. When they don't execute it, it's an ugly thing to watch. Play to Watterson, quick throw, and she's safe.
Oh, my God.
I thought she got her.
I thought she was safe.
We're going to have to put this on the instant replay.
Okay.
But that's the beauty of that slap hitting situation, because you get quickly out of the box.
So this is a new batter.
Number 9. That would be Arcadia Monkman.
Which I totally mispronounced. I got the
Right back to the pitcher. Gifford covers. And in that situation, very quickly, Gagnon runs back to third, and so does Mazurski. Came all the way in from left field.
number 11, Casey Sinatra.
So both these situations, she hit the ball to third base, and that you hear Coach Fleming yelling, "Hey, both times it came to you." And that's just good coaching, knowing where this player has a tendency to hit. So she has a tendency to hit to the left side of the infield. So definitely Gagnon and Watterson need to be paying attention here. She swings through that for an 0-2 count with 2 outs, top of the 6th.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a change-up here.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a real slow one there.
And that's popped up. Tough play for Watterson, and that's going to score a run. So that's the first run of the game for Portsmouth. That's a kind of a bloop type hit, out of reach of Watterson. But that's just good, a good play by Portsmouth. It's called putting the bat on the ball.
Yeah.
Shortening up your swing.
Number 14, Aaron Dennehy.
So Aaron Dennehy, the third baseman, well, I think she's now playing first base.
Mm-hmm.
So she struck out and then singled. And she hits one sharply to Davis, who cannot get it.
And here we go.
And she throws to third. I don't know why. Because that's another little bit
look
of
at this.
Again, another mistake by Goffstown. Amber Davis's job is to throw the ball to second base. You're winning 7-1. And he said, you hear the coach yelling, cut 2. And I think Matt Fleming has had enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You're not going to be successful in a tournament if you're playing this many mental errors.
Got to get your heads together. Really.
Playing down to the level of
Yeah.
I haven't seen these mistakes all year long.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're right. I think this is one of the things that, for me, when I've coached softball for a while, and you know that you're going to have a throwing error every once in a while. Kids are going to strike out. They don't have a great at bat. That happens. But the mental stuff like this, that's almost inexcusable. Not at this level.
Matt does not really look happy.
Yeah.
16,
He may need an Excedrin after this.
Yeah, well, now you got runners at second and third, so now you get a little blue pit, and before you know it, it's 7-3. So that's high. And the other thing, too, is quite candidly, Chouinard doesn't seem to be dominant today either. You know, she's not hitting corners, and
Okay.
it's a 1-1 count.
She has a sore left wrist.
Yeah. Yeah, she got.
I saw tape on it.
That's a good
And
pitch.
that's in there for a 1-2 count.
All right, time for a strikeout here. Let's get the inning over with.
I like the spirit still in the Portsmouth dugout.
Good pitch by Chouinard, a little bit high, 2-2 count with 2 outs. And I'll tell you, for a team that's down 7-1, Portsmouth's bench is pretty active. You hear them cheering up their teammates, number 16, Danielle Adams, who struck out her first 2 times up. And that's a pop-up, and that's called by Gagnon. And she corrals that one for the 3rd out of the inning. So we'll be heading into the bottom of the 6th. And I tell you, I'm trying to try to listen in on this conversation. So, Bill, we've got a pretty good vantage point here. Our press box is directly over the dugout for Goffstown, and I was hearing what Coach Fleming was saying initially in his conversation with his teammates. He goes, you got to know the situation, ladies. He goes, in that situation, it's a throw to second base. He goes, you're giving up bases here to these runners. So he goes, you just got to know what, and you got to know to hit your cutoffs. You got to talk. And he was using a lot of hand gestures, saying you got to talk it up. And at that particular time, there was no leadership on the field in that situation. And that, to be candid with you, This is where you got to have some leadership in Gifford. And your shortstop and your second baseman, they're the ones who are saying, cut two, okay? You can't expect to hear it from the bench.
But, you know, all year long, I don't really think we've had a dominant person take control. Like last year you had Matt's daughter. She took control of everything out there. We don't really have that.
Well,
Lombardi behind the plate.
Lombardi does take control behind the plate, but again,
got to have somebody in the infield.
Your middle infielders are typically the ones who are like the generals out there. So Lendry takes an outside pitch for strike one. And again, this is what you're going to see in the playoffs. They're not going to give you a meatball over the plate. You're going to have to go the other way with a pitch. And she's got a lot of territory there to play with. And that is just a off-speed pitch, and that really confused her. Yeah. That's in the dirt. I can almost guarantee you one thing. If Goffstown does hang on, it looks like they will, 7-1 lead in the bottom of the sixth, I can guarantee you Matt Fleming is not happy with today's game. Not happy at all.
No.
And Lendry pokes one, but right at that goes by her.
Keep going, kid.
So Lendry is fast. She should
going.
be able to get to third, and she will. And Lendry.
Girl never touched the ball. You got to give her a triple.
Yep, that's a triple for Lendry, but that should have been a single at best if you keep it in front of you. You're playing that deep, Bill. Again, a good team is going to hold that one to a single. So in steps Mazurski. She shows bunt, and that's a strike. So this could be I'm curious to see what they do here. This is not a bad situation to attempt a suicide squeeze.
Looks like they had the shortstop covering third.
Yeah. And
she fanned at it.
Yep. There's nothing, I hate to say it, I know she smiles a lot, but I don't know if I'd smile at that.
This will be an interesting play here for Lendry at third. I don't think we're going to see another bunt try, but I hope we got a better thing than we did on Saturday.
Yeah. See, that's what you want to do. That's exactly that's good heads-up softball by Mazurski. It was a drop strike 3. And the first base, the catcher can't really throw it to first because she'll give up a run. So that's good heads-up play.
E2.
But I'll tell you, we've seen a couple of situations like that this year where the batter just stood there and got tagged out. Again, you know, we've done such a good job executing bunts against that game with Sauhegan.
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite. You're talking about a lesser velocity from a pitcher, and we can't lay one down. Oh,
My God.
Wow. Come on, Blue.
What, 3 hits already today?
Yeah. 3 for 3.
I don't know. Maybe he needs to get dinner, some chicken tenders or something, and like really quick. But that's high. 1-2. I mean, I like chicken tenders too, but I don't call strikes on balls. But yeah, I haven't been overly impressed with the calls both sides. So she hits one right back to the pitcher. That's going to score a run. Good base running by Lendry because she held up. She went halfway down. Same thing with Mazurski. Good base running there.
I think we give her a single on that. Too.
Yeah, I was sharply hit.
4 for 4. Another RBI. They just got the run back.
And that's runner in difference. So now there's runners at second and third with no outs for Taylor Gagnon. Opportunity to plate 2 here with a solid single. And she hits one to the second baseman. That'll be an out. And that's a productive out. Run
Fielder's
batted in
choice,
for
RBI.
Gagnon. So she hits it the opposite way and to second base. If she hits it to third, it could be a play. You know, it could be a little difficult there. But so now we've got Gifford with a runner at third with only 1 out. Goffstown now leads 9-1. And she hits one sharply.
smokes
Again,
it.
it's a bullet.
Is that her third hit?
And that's her
Third
third
hit,
hit.
yep.
And they're all been very hard hit balls for Gifford. So Gifford is 3 for 4, and Lombardi 4 for 4.
Plus the ball she was out and that hit the left field was a pretty good shot
Yeah.
too.
It's a 12-run mercy rule situation. So if Goffstown, it's my understanding that if Goffstown plates 2 more runs, the game would be over. So we've got
Davis,
Davis.
up. She's 1 for 3.
I think you're looking right here at the players that really are going to make it or break it in that respect. I mean, Purcell's hit a home run. Davis, I think she's getting back into the swing of things in terms of her bat.
Yeah, these girls have to make a contribution offensively. Go ahead, run.
Oof. Man, that almost like took her head
Yeah.
off. That's why you wear a helmet.
So that was an error on the third baseman.
So now we've got a runner at first base and a runner at third base. And Purcell is up, and I think you're going to see a steal here. Because there's really no, if they do throw, we're going to score another run. And we'll probably see another runner in different situation. Yep. And there's nobody at second, so it doesn't really matter. So if Purcell can get a hit, and again, they're playing so deep.
Look at the hole in
yeah,
right center. Oh, my God.
Davis has pretty good speed as well, runs the base as well. And that could
That's
do
could
it.
bring it in.
That's going to do it.
Slide.
She's out. Did she get hurt? No.
All right, so we get a run with Gifford.
Did a good job blocking.
We get a single here.
And I hate to say it, but arguably, if that ball gets thrown to home, the runner on first should be at second.
Yeah.
And she's not.
So we're at
I think we had to be running the base.
8-2.
And 11, 15.
You know, it's funny because I hear, you know, somebody had said they might be running the bases in practice. I tell you, there are some coaches that they would be practicing after this game. Tell you, that's the players got to be aware. This umpire likes the outside strike.
He likes the black.
So Coach Fleming was trying to put this game away, sending Amber Davis in. And that's hit to third. That should be an easy out. That's overthrown.
Come on.
Ooh, hopefully nobody
Keep
got hurt
coming.
on that one. It's going to be runners
There.
at second and third.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody is hurt there. You got a
No.
little kid who looks like, you know, maybe like a 1-year-old,
E5.
which I'm not so sure that I would be sitting there if I'm a spectator with a 1-year-old. But
No.
Come on, Beanie, you can end it.
No, just like the first game, they've thrown the ball away to put them in this situation right now.
10, Dean Mullen.
So Melissa Mullen has an opportunity to end this one.
Be nice to finish it now. The wife just called. She's got dinner ready.
Chicken tenders?
No, no, no.
What do you got going tonight, you think?
I
Anything
don't know.
good?
It's surprise.
Uh-oh. That's in there for a strike. And that's another strike. Wow, she looked at that one. That one was, I call that one a fat one over the plate.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't the situation I like to see her in.
Not 0-2. Oh, my goodness. That is just not a good at bat.
No.
That is not a good at bat.
No. So we get.
I don't know if I even
1,
want to
2,
talk to Matt after
3.
this game. I'm going to, but it's not going to be a pleasant conversation.
3 runs. 1, 2, 3 hits.
Yeah, I think practice is
2 men left on base. A lot of the mistakes are mental too.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they're physical mistakes.
Yeah.
I think they're.
Well, that's what
they're
I'm
mental.
saying is that I think for those of us who have coached players, you can forgive some physical mistakes. It happens, as hard as you practice, those things can happen. It's the mental stuff that you try to minimize, and you're hoping that just through rote type training that you just don't make them. But clearly, Goffstown has just really shot themselves in the foot on a lot of plays today.
They're just going to have to get their head into the game and talk, as you said earlier, the situations at hand, where the ball should go, things like this. And a coach can only go so much.
This is not. It's not
I
a
think
coaching
it's the
thing.
players.
Yeah.
Adams.
So 15, Megan Adams, pitcher.
Ooh, big.
She squibs one over to the first base side out of play. And we are at the top of the 7th inning. And they've got a lot of work to make up here. And that's a high strike. 0-2 to Adams. And I think I heard it over here by our public address announcer. It seemed like Goffstown kind of played to the level of their competition today. Oof, that was off someone's face mask. It just seems like a much different team than the one
we
that
saw
battled at
Saturday, I'll tell you,
Sauhegan. Oh,
yeah.
my God, that Sauhegan
Yeah.
game was one that was for the ages. And this one just, I have to say, one of the sloppier ones I've seen all season.
Yes, good
Nice pitch by Schwinnard. That's her 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 6th strikeout, I believe. Is that what you got?
Yep.
number 5, Molly McKellar.
Molly McKellar, the center fielder. She had a sacrifice and a strikeout. And that's high and outside for ball 1. So I think we'll have a little chat with Purcell and Watterson and
Amber Davis.
and no, I think we'll have. I think it's important to talk to the captain of this team today, Lombardi. She went 4 for 4, but I want to know what she said in that. I want to know what that deals with that base running error.
Yeah, I don't think discussion with Matt would be.
Oh, we're gonna have one.
Oh.
We're gonna have one. Let's see how he does. And it's fouled off.
Because I think he prides himself in this team making the plays, making the right plays
yeah.
too.
And that's a
Ooh, thank you.
strikeout for Schwinnard. And that player, number 5, Molly McKella, she chased a high one.
Number 1, Kaylee Shepard.
Kaylee Shepard, designated hitter. She's kind of struggled at the plate a little bit today
Yeah.
as well. So they're down to their last out, and that's low for ball 1.
Yeah, I think you were right. I think Schwinnard is not at her best today.
Not crisp.
No.
Yeah. That ball smoked over Landry's head.
Nice hit.
Yeah.
That's why she's a designated hitter.
Yeah. But that was the best hit of the game for Portsmouth in terms of it was driven hard. And now the slap hitter. And it just hasn't worked out for number 4 today, Burgess. I mean, good speed and all, but just hasn't really successfully executed that slap hit. And she just really, it's almost like she's out of the box when she's.
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah.
I said I don't even think she's close.
I would just give up on it. I don't get it, but she's going to keep doing it. You know, the thing is, when you do that, you are so off balance. You know, as you're doing that running step.
All right on occasion, but not every time at bat.
Yeah.
You got to have great bat control.
Yeah. Right.
Got it. See, down to third base. Yep. It's a hard skill.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Bat on the ball that way, too.
I tell you, I'd love to see her. You know, like it's almost like a drag type bunt would be awesome, but no. And that's it. She's done. So that does it, folks. Kaylee Schwinnard finishes off with a strikeout. Goffstown prevails 11-1 over Portsmouth to advance to the quarterfinals, where they'll play the winner of Sanborn versus Co-Brown. But again, as a recap here, you know, Goffstown had some good things and some not so good things. The good things were 2-run home run by Purcell, a home run by Watterson, 3 for 4 by Gifford, 4 for 4 by Lombardi, and pretty good defense by the infield. Okay, and just the tough part is the mental errors were just, you know, very, very uncharacteristic. So it looks like I got word that Co-Brown prevailed, so we will be playing Co-Brown here on Saturday at 4 p.m. and look forward to that. So we're gonna go down to the field and we're gonna have some a chat with probably an unhappy Matt Fleming, the head coach. And we'll see what the players have to say. They don't look too happy right now.
No, I think they know what's coming.
Yeah, they know it's not going to be a pleasant one. So okay, so we're gonna stop the video recording now, and we're gonna head down to the field. All right, I'm here with Justine Watterson, the shortstop for Goffstown. You had a pretty good win, but I get the sense that you guys aren't happy.
I guess not. I mean, I thought we all played very well, but Matt wanted us to be louder in the dugout, so we got to work on that. But overall, we all played very well. So
was that your first home run
yes.
of the season?
Yes.
I tell you, I wasn't sure if it was going out. I thought it was going to hit the base of the fence, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, a home run.
Yeah, I know. I was so excited.
Now,
I saw Matt going like this, and I was like, wow.
Have you hit a home run before?
Actually, no.
That's your first
That's my
career.
first home
Do you have the
run.
ball?
He's going to be giving it to me soon. So.
Excellent. You know, one of the things that I've been commenting is that this is your first year playing varsity shortstop, and you've had a really good streak there in terms of you're fielding the ball very cleanly, you're making accurate throws over, making stretching, you're getting a lot of outs.
Yeah.
You've been working at it, or?
Yeah, I've been working really hard. He told me I had to have quicker feet, so that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, well, congratulations. You played a great game, and congratulations on your first home run. That's awesome.
You.
All right, I'm here with Megan Purcell, first baseman for Goffstown. You had a big 2-run home run that really set the stage for Goffstown in this preliminary game. What was your approach? That was your first home run this season, and you had a lot of home runs last year, so it's kind of like a drought, but you quickly overcame that. What was your approach going into that at-bat?
Well, like lately, once again, I've been coming down to the field to work on my hitting because that has just been what's tanked my playing. And then today, I actually had to like reroute the way that I was swinging, and then I figured out that the reason I wasn't hitting anything is because I was double stepping with my foot, and I had to completely like change that. So I had to wait on it a lot more.
So you got to be pleased with the win, but by the same token, there were some mental mistakes today.
Yeah.
You know, what was the talk amongst the team? I know that Coach Fleming talked to you guys, but you guys met in the circle there too. Like, what were you talking about? You got to be pleased when you jump on a big win, but there were a little bit more mental mistakes today than I've seen this team make all season long. What do you think was the cause of that?
I'm not sure. I mean, coming into the postseason, like that is a big weight on the shoulders, and so like trying to show everyone that you are the best and like that you deserve to be here is a huge thing. And then I don't know, the mental mistakes, they're gonna happen either way, but then the working out of it is what is actually gonna like affect our playing later on.
Yeah, so it looks like you're going to be playing Cole Brown. We just found out that that they beat Sanborn, so they'll be playing here on Saturday, and I want to wish you the best of luck and do well on Saturday.
Thank
All
you.
right. I'm here with head coach Matt Fleming, and again, you got to be pleased. You got a preliminary first-round win. You'll be playing Cole Brown, but this was an uncharacteristic game for me to watch and to broadcast because although we saw some great things, obviously Waterson's first home run of the season, Purcell's first home run this season, and you need their production. You had great defense by your infield, and you had some great hitting, again, by Gifford and by Lombardi. But the big story is the mental errors that occurred, and there were a lot of them.
Sure, and, we kept talking to them about that. The first round in the playoffs is a lot of emotion, and I think what happens is players get caught up in that emotion, and they start forgetting about doing the little things. And that was the conversation we just had, That's a great win. You need to win. You need to move on. You need to continue to battle in the postseason. But the further you go, the less mistakes you can afford to make. So we have to take those mistakes we learned today and improve upon them. And I told them straight up, you have to be mentally tougher than your opponent if you want to continue in this postseason. And but the key is also staying up and staying positive and continuing to fight. And, one of the things that helps equalize the game for us is the fact that no matter what is going on behind her, Kaylee Chenard just bears down and pitches in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting today was that today was a battle for her in the sense that I didn't see her pitching as more dominant. She didn't get some calls, to be honest with you, that she was typically getting. This umpire, in my opinion, he had a little bit of an erratic strike zone for both pitchers.
Yep.
And I think that sometimes it's hard to find your groove when you're not getting a pitch for a strike that you normally should be getting.
And the problem that develops from that is, and we have no choice, right? So the pitcher has to step in there and has to deal with that. And so when that happens, sometimes she's going to have to feed a pitch in that she normally wouldn't do. And the defense has to step up and not make mistakes or not allow runners to get extra bases on those plays or hold runners with a tag and let the runner continue to advance behind you. So, we were able to monopolize on that as teachable moments. So I think it's going to be fine, but we just have to continue to remind them that. And they'll get a healthy helping of reminders in practice between now and Friday. I can assure you of that. So
listen, I've seen you over the years, and when you went out to the circle, I'm like, he does not look happy.
You know what I told him out there is Kaylee is pitching her guts out, and she was. And, she's not going to keep every batter off balance and punch them out, right? We have to make the plays, and we also have to think about the plays that are going on behind us. And so we talked about that, and, the girls got it. They were receptive to that. They're like, hey, we have to clean this up. Let's go right back to work.
Yeah,
and
like I said, again, on a positive note, Taylor Gagnon had like 2 or 3 great plays at third, and Watterson, she's smooth. She's been all season long as the first year as a varsity shortstop has been very steady.
Yeah,
so.
and had a great day at the plate. She returned back to the lineup today after we were hitting for her. And how do you prove to the coaches that you're ready to be back in the lineup? You hit a ball deep, and she did that, and I thought that was a great moment for her.
I agree. I want to wish you best of luck on Saturday against Cole Brown.
Take
care.